Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Sports Church. I'm your host, John Kerwin, aka Mini. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. 2311 was my MOS. Ayoyes. I'm a card carrying member of the E4 Mafia, founding member of Sports Church and Barracks Party Media. And we'll see what kind of show we got. We're missing one person for some reason already, but I do have the one, the only, my brother from another mother, a fellow sufferer of the great camp known as Las Pulgas. Without further ado, I'm gonna bring him on, the brother Bishop Poot Dog.
Let us proclaim the mysteries of old roosters getting retired in a pool of their own blood. Yes, Minnie, it's the bishop, not the brush up. The bishop, brother Poot Dog from the First Sports Church, nothing but the truth, Minnie. And last night we had a little fight card, and I'm going to go over two of the key fights. The main event, obviously, and the retirement match, what became the retirement match for Anthony Lionheart Smith.
All right.
That will be in my segment, my man.
Okay.
So you say we're short of people here. How many people we got? Pops?
We got Pops, but he's not here, so I don't know what he's doing.
I'm sure Pops will make it.
Yeah.
Pops is going to make it.
Got a lot of things going on right now that I don't understand, but yeah. All right. I mean, I'm trying to find your highlights. Okay, I found your highlights, so I got that.
So you want to get right into my segment, then?
Might as well, man.
Right into the hooking and jabbing. So the number one, number one, the short number that's just going to be a short of Zhang Mingyang retiring Anthony Smith.
Okay.
And Anthony Smith, I'm glad I watched this fight. I wasn't going to watch this fight. And I wasn't going to watch this fight because I already knew the results, right? We go ahead and play this and then we'll talk about it. So you get a better idea of what I'm talking about. So that's how it ends.
Damn.
And Anthony Smith is a bloody mess.
Yeah.
Bloody mess. Okay. And I already knew that before I watched the fight. I knew how it ended. So I wasn't going to watch the fight. And if I wouldn't have watched the fight, I wouldn't have been doing my job over here because the whole idea is to break down, analyze the fights, right? But I kind of thought I knew what happened. And, and actually, I mean, if you want to sum it up, yeah, we know what happened. We know what happened. But what caused this, what seemed to cause this, and this is my opinion, and this is a guy that's been watching the sport a long time. The way he got that cut opened up and how much it bled and everything, that's above the eye. That's scar tissue, man. That's a scar tissue problem.
Right.
And when these guys freaking get a little long in the tooth and they have all these battles, and they'll have problems with old scars opening up, and scar tissue can be very painful as well. They did an operation on Vanderlei Silva to remove some scar tissue. I mean, the guy still bled after that. You know, the Diaz brothers, obviously they got problems with scar tissue. It's a good time for Andy Smith to retire. Because, I mean, if you can't see, you can't fight. You know, he was, man. So to set this up, before he got cut, right? Before he got cut, don't get me wrong, Zhang looked like the better fighter. He really did. He looked like the better fighter. I'm not saying Anthony Smith was winning. I'm not saying that. And it wasn't exactly a long match at all. But I'm not saying Anthony Smith was winning, but he was landing some vicious elbow strikes, man. These elbow strikes were just bam, bam. And Zhang was actually cut himself also. Not like Anthony, but he was cut as well. So, I mean, I wonder how this fight would have went on if Anthony Smith didn't receive that damage. And I believe the damage was caused by the scarring. But, you know, it's time for him to move on. He hasn't had very good showings in his last few fights. And he makes a better commentator at this point than a fighter, and he'll have a job with the UFC, as Dana White said in the press conference afterwards. Dana White said that he's going to have a job, and that he's happy to see him retire, and it's time. And I don't think you're going to have anyone that's going to argue with that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, right on. So we can move on to the main event. The main event was Ian Garry versus Carlos Pratis. Now, the interesting thing about Carlos Pratis, and the reason I bet Carlos Pratis yesterday, I put a small wager on it just so I had entertainment. But the reason I bet him last night was because he's a member of the Fighting Nerds, right? And these are a group of Brazilians. And last week we actually had one of the guys that kicked Bryce Mitchell's ass is actually one of the Fighting Nerds. These guys all wear the glasses with the tape on it. It's kind of their little thing. But they actually have like some MIT analysis going on in their fight camp with it. So like this stuff is nerded up. They got like none of them can speak very good English. I noticed that, but so it's really hard to gauge their intelligence. It really is, because I mean, if you're speaking like a caveman in a foreign language, you know, but I'm sure they're all very smart fellows or smart fellers or fart smellers or something. But that being said, I'm pretty sure they all got their heads screwed on pretty good, and they all got pretty high IQs to come together like that to call themselves the Fighting Nerds and have like MIT analysis being done in their fight camps. And so they're 19-0. They were till last night. They were 19-0 in the UFC. Carlos Pratis, the guy that was fighting last night, was on a 10-win in MMA, not just UFC, but a 10-win streak. So he's fighting Ian Garry. Ian Gary's coming off of a loss to Rakshov Makhanov, or I butchered his name, but we all know who I'm talking about.
Right.
So he just come off of that loss to Rakshov, and I had him losing all 5 rounds. The judges had him losing all 4 rounds. Interesting thing about that being said, Andy Smith really never had a challenge before Rakhmonov. Before Rakhmonov, he hasn't even had a challenge. So he's whooped just about everybody. The closest thing you could call to a challenge was MVP, because he fought MVP the only way you really can't fight MVP. You know, he held him down and tried to make him nervous, tried to smash on him. MVP's a tough guy to strike with. But outside of that, man, the guy's kind of breezed through the UFC. Ian Machado Garry. If you remember, Ian Machado Garry, he's the guy we were talking about that took his wife's name. Remember that? Remember when we talked about it? Right. So he's like he gets the cuck or whatever. I don't know. I don't get into all that. It's people's business, it's their business. But just as a So you know who we're talking about. So there's an interesting fight because this guy, before Rachmaninoff derailed his hype train, he was on his way to UFC championship possibly. That's the way people were looking at him. And so he's coming up against this fighting nerd that's got 10 wins in a row. The Fighting Nerds as a group are 19-0 in the UFC right now. We just saw the Fighting Nerd John Silva freaking smash Bryce Mitchell last week, slam him around like a rag doll. Or maybe that was 2 weeks ago. But whenever it happened, it was 2 weeks ago. Whenever that happened, we just saw that. So that was all fresh in my head. And I can get this Carlos Pratis as an underdog. Well, go ahead. We'll take a look at what actually happened last night.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I think I have it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Second.
I only
one,
sent
yep.
you 2 slides or two
Yep.
2 shorts today. So easy day for us today with you. As far as the UFC is concerned, it's a very easy day.
Carlos Pratis,
Not much to
without
talk.
any bias. Round 1. Gary's constantly attacking the arms of Pratis, constantly circling out and controlling the distance. Pratis ends up on the ground and Ian follows up with nasty ground and pound. 10-9 Gary. Round 2. Gary outstrikes Pratis at almost 3-1 rate. Whenever Pratis starts advancing forward, Gary shoots a takedown and stops the momentum. Even if the takedown fails, it stops Pratis from advancing. 10-9 Gary. Round 3. Gary lands a nice uppercut that lands flush on the chin of Pratis. Gary then successfully takes down Pratis twice, allowing him to secure enough control to win him the round. 10-9 Gary. Round 4. Again, Gary takes down Pratis, but when he gets back up, there's a clear momentum shift. Pratis stalks Gary against the cage. Although Gary landed more volume, the heavier and more deadly shots were landed by Pratis. 10-9 Pratis. Round 5. Pratis reverses a takedown from Gary, landing brutal ground and pound. A few more shots would have ended the fight. However, fatigue stopped Pratis from getting the finish, allowing Gary to make it to the bell. 10-9 Pratis. Overall, 48-47 Gary. A technical performance by Ian Gary on short notice. Does Ian Gary deserve a title shot? Scoring Ian Gary versus Carlos Pratis.
All
So
right.
there you have it. So there you have what happened. Interesting 5th round because Ian Gary looked like he was hanging on for dear life.
Right.
You know, he said afterwards in an interview he was never hurt. I don't believe that. Not only was he hurt, he looked gassed. He looked like he was out of gas as well. So if that fight were to go on, and they don't, I mean, main events, championship fights are only 5 rounds. I mean, that's it. 5-minute rounds. It's a lot. It's actually a lot. 25 minutes of fighting straight, pretty much. I mean, you get a little break in between rounds, but 25 minutes of fighting, that's a lot. But if this fight was to go on any further, man, Carlos Pratis might have won this fight. You know, I mean, who knows what would have happened? He had finished strong in the 4th round and then had an excellent 5th round. Ian Gary was piecing him apart. The jab was really working that whole fight. The whole fight, the jab was working. It actually, at times, Ian Gary was throwing some pretty hard punches. I'm not saying he wasn't. But at times, it looked like in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round, it looked like Ian Gary was like just sparring. It was a day sparring. Besides the hard shots, besides the really hard shots, he's like poking at him, keeping away from him. He did a real good job of not getting hit in those first 3 rounds and hitting Pratis. So what's next for Pratis? Man, he's got a long career ahead of him. He's in his early 20s, I believe. Ian Gary with this win, maybe, I don't know, you get a Rachmaninoff's actually hurt right now. But is that a loss he can revenge? Is that a loss he's going to revenge? Does he get the title shot? Who knows? Dana White and Hunter have a better idea of that than I do. So I can't really speculate on what's next for these guys. What I can speculate on, though, is what's next in the UFC. And Dana White last night in his press conference was talking about that John Jones Aspinall fight is going to happen. He said it's going to happen. So, and he said that everything that you're hearing is bullshit. Now, earlier in the week, Tom Aspinall came out and said, hey, you know what? Give me a freaking opponent. I want to fight. Give me Cyril Gane. You know?
Right.
And Dana was asked about that, and I pontificated on what Dana just said. He says that, I don't know, man. Dana White, things don't always happen the way Dana White says they're going to. I mean, most of the time they do, obviously.
Sure.
Most of the time they do, but they don't always happen the way the UFC wants them to happen or the way Dana White says it's going to happen. At some point, John Jones is going to have to put the pen to the paper and sign an agreement for this to happen. And that hasn't happened yet. And we're like on almost a year now.
Yeah.
Right? We've been talking about this fight is going to happen for almost a year now. It's got to be. It's got to be that long. So that's what's happening as far as that goes. Next weekend, we're going to have a fight night in the UFC. It's going to be Sandhagen versus Figueiredo. And that's going to be in Des Moines, Iowa, of all places. A hotbed for wrestling, obviously. The next pay-per-view coming up is going to be on May 10th. It's going to be UFC 315. It's going to be let me pull it up. It's going to be Jack Della Maddalena, and it's going to be versus Belal Muhammad. That's going to be the main event. If we got any other fighters we recognize, well, Valentino Shevchenko is going to be fighting on this card. Jose Aldo, he's not retired yet. Jose Aldo is going to be fighting. He's still chugging along. Good. He's got a hell of an MMA record, 32-9. That's a lot of fights. That's a lot of fights, man. That's a lot of wear and tear. But he's still winning fights. He's still winning fights. So who am I to tell the guy to hang it up, right? Of course, right? I'm nobody.
Right.
Not recognizing a lot of these names. Not exactly household names here on this card. And not much is happening, man. We're gonna have a rematch of the Delahaye McNally fight. That's going to happen sometime in June. I don't have that pulled up, but that's actually going to happen. Believe you got International Fight Week coming up for July. I think they'll have some surprises for us as far as who's going to be involved in that. And that's always a good show. They always put on a good show for that. But not much is really happening in the UFC. That pretty much wraps up my segment, my man. I'm ready to take my bishop hat off and put my pook hat on.
There you go.
All right. The bishop's done. The pook's on.
Pook's on. All right. Without further ado, we're bringing him on. He's Reverend Pops. We call him Pops because he's my Pops. He's been in part of our racing industry for over 50 years, so we know nobody else to speak as eloquently and factually on it as him. And he finally made it, so here he is.
Rather hectic, but we're here.
There you go. All right, have at it.
I knew you'd make it, Pops.
At the Xfinity race yesterday, it came down to Jeff Burton, where he was leading. I mean, he's won this race twice before, but yesterday they had a yellow flag at the very end of the race, and NASCAR decided that Austin Hill was in front of Jeff Burton and lined him up that way on the restart. And that's exactly how it ended up with Jeff Burton finishing second, Austin Hill being in the lead. Now, what NASCAR does is apparently they don't worry about the timing lines anymore. They worry about camera angles, and they watch all three camera angles that were available to them, and that's when they decided to put Austin Hill up in front. And this controversy goes on week after week with NASCAR. They simply cannot. I don't say they necessarily can't get it right. They just have to have a controversy on every finish. So why that is, I don't know. At one point, they were 3 wide going through the turns, which is something you're not supposed to be able to do. But they did it yesterday. I don't know that the Cup race to go. Well, Cup race is going 3 wide through turn 1. So that's what's going on now. So Bubba Wallace won the second stage. How about that? Joey Logano was second. Kyle Larson was third. So it's going to be a natural the way things are happening anymore, I guess is the best way to describe that. Every time I look to see what the standings are, they go to a full screen graphic. I can't see anything. Anyway, in F1, they're still arguing over the sanctions against Red Bull because of, well, they disqualified 2 of their cars last week. I don't know. One was too low, and the other one had a skid plate was worn away. So Red Bull can't do anything right. I mean, they're having trouble getting up front, and then when they do get close to front like fifth and sixth position, they get disqualified. So F1 is definitely going not the way Red Bull wants. I guess
I should have saved my money and never bought those damn sunglasses.
There you go. Oh, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Right now you got Lando Norris in the oh no, I'm losing my mind again. Lando is a British racing driver, and he's driving for McLaren, which is a English team. So that's interesting. I'm trying to think. Is Max Verstappen going to be able to come back from this? I think they've got a problem with the car, and Max just can't figure it out. And they got a rookie second driver in that team, and that doesn't help them at all. That's for sure. Charles Leclerc is finishing up in second place now. So you're looking at a total different lineup with Ferrari being in second place and Red Bull in third. And we're getting ready to go to the action of the Indianapolis 500. And surprisingly, the guys that you anticipate being the leaders there, all of a sudden turned around and became the leaders there.
Weird.
And it's funny that the guy that has won the last two IndyCar races, or IndyCar 500s, is the one that was leading the fast lap in the practice that was last week. Come on, my screen doesn't change. Can I give you a hint? He's from Nashville.
No.
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna have to just get a list of drivers, I think.
Is he a rhinestone cowboy?
Oh my
No.
God.
He said he's from Nashville. I thought maybe he had the belt buckle and never rode a horse.
No, this is a kid that, he came up the right way, came up through go-karts, then ran sprint cars, and then moved over to Indy cars. He got his first race with can't remember her name. Doggone it. She owns the go-kart tracks in Indianapolis now. Right at the speedway, right next to
Sarah Fisher. Can we move on? Let's go. Come on.
Okay. By the way, he got his first ride with Sarah Fisher, and then moved over to Ed Carpenter's team, and then he left Ed Carpenter's team and went to Penske. And since he got to Penske, he's won the Indianapolis 500 the last 2 years in a row, and he was fast in qualifying. And that pretty much wraps up what we got today. We still got the
damn it. Minnie, you're ushering your dad through the best part of the show. We're listening to some real content about his
I'm trying to get
knowledge.
the name. We still don't know who he's talking about. Still don't know the name of the guy. Is it Alex Palou?
No, Alex Palou was second.
Well, shit. I took a shot.
Yeah, yep, you did.
Who's all right? So who's this kid we're talking about?
This. Well, let's put it this way: he's not in the championship run right now. Oh man, that's the wrong series. Standings, go there.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I cannot bring up his name, and for one reason or another, when I go to look at the standings, instead of coming up with IndyCar, they come up with IndyCar X, which is the lower series. Let's see what we get here.
Wow. If I beat you to it, I swear to God.
It's just terrible that I can't remember. The fact that I know already, they're ready for this. Not only do I know where he lives, but I also know he's married to a Disney princess. and I still can't think of his name.
Well, that's
Holy
You
mackerel.
guys got to know who married a Disney princess.
no, actually.
I'm trying not to pay attention to Disney. Ever since
Paddle
that whole
Award.
magic mirror on the wall
No, Paddle was doing okay, but he was not up the front.
Scott McLaughlin.
Scott McLaughlin did have a fast lap on the first practice session, but not the second. It wasn't the fastest.
are these names of
2:32.
drivers?
2:32.06 was the lap. I can remember that much. Golly, that's
Logano?
sure was. Huh?
Priest? Logano?
Joseph Newgarden.
There you go. It's Joseph. J-O-S-E-F.
We talked about that
J-O-S-E-F.
guy.
How can you
I
forget
know that name. We talked
But anyway,
about that
Joseph
guy
had the
before.
fast time, 2:32.
The Rhinestone Cowboy from Nashville.
Which is wild. Think about this. They normally don't turn 2:32 laps this early in the season. This is the third day of tests, and Joseph cracked out there and flew with second. He also had 2:32, but it wasn't nearly as fast as Joseph. That is where they're at now. They go a month of qualifying. Right? They say qualifying. They got one more race on the road course, and then they switch to Indianapolis, and we go through a road course race and then the big 500 on May. Come on, show me what the Indianapolis 500 is on. The Indianapolis Grand Prix is on May 10th. Huh. Now this is crazy. They show the Indianapolis Grand Prix of May 9th and the Indianapolis Grand Prix on May 10th.
Memorial Day
And
weekend's
they show
always, right? Ain't
Detroit
Ain't
Grand Prix.
Ain't it Memorial
They
Day
don't
weekend?
show that the Indianapolis 500. When is the Indianapolis 500? That's kind of
Isn't it
strange.
always Memorial Day weekend? Am I full of shit?
Yep, it is. It's generally on Memorial Day weekend. Generally, I say, because sometimes they do it early and early and late. But let's see what they come. Grand Prix Alabama, Indianapolis
Holy
Grand
shit.
Prix May 9th,
Mini.
May 10th. No, that. All right, I'll do it this way. Grand Prix, Indianapolis Grand Prix May 9th. This is strange. You look at it's obviously IndyCar doesn't believe that it's going to be an Indianapolis 500
Yeah, I bet. But I bet if
Look
I
at
pull it
the
up, I can
schedule.
find it.
of their entire schedule and goes Grand Prix of Alabama, which is that's the race they're going to do now. Grand Prix of Alabama, they'll do now. And Grand Prix of Indianapolis Grand Prix is apparently they're doing two races at the Grand Prix Indianapolis before they get to the Indianapolis 500. Don't understand that at all because it shows Indianapolis, the 9th and 10th, the two road races, and then it says the Detroit Grand Prix on June 1st, which means IRL, IndyCar Racing League, how's that? Doesn't have a race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Well, if you go to Fox Sports
Well, wait a
and
minute.
you
I'm
look
looking
it
at
up,
the actual sanctioning body, and they don't have it.
well,
can
I
you-
didn't go
How
to
can
them.
you go to a TV company and say, well, they're going to have a race? So maybe they'll run junk cars or whatever at the Indianapolis 500. I'm not real sure.
Yeah, well, Sunday, May 25th, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 10 a.m. on Fox.
All right.
There you
Well,
go.
that means that they get that race done in time to go to Detroit on June 1st. Cool.
Well, that would be a week later. Yeah,
Would that be Memorial Day weekend?
we actually would. Yeah.
it would be Memorial Day weekend. So, all
Yeah.
right.
So
You could've
we're
left it at
see,
that.
look at
It
he
Memorial Day
he
weekend.
kind of puts me on, but he did find the answer.
See, weird, it's crazy.
Anyway, leave it to the guys to somehow forget when the Indianapolis 500 is. What do you guys got? Anything happening in baseball?
I mean, it is early. Go through the standings real quick. Starting in the American League East, you got the New York Yankees up top. Boston Red Sox only a game and a half behind them. Tampa Bay Devil Rays, who are playing in a minor league stadium like the Athletics, in third. The Baltimore Orioles, the team loaded with talent, eating shit. 3-7 in their last 10. I mean, they are bad. It's official. You can say the Baltimore Orioles are bad. Not surprising, but a little surprising. The Detroit Tigers are in first place in the woeful AL Central. With a plus, the only team in the AL Central with a positive run differential, plus 42. They're 8-2 in their last 10. My stud, the name of my fantasy baseball team, Scooble, just dealt today, like 10 strikeouts. He's cruising. Guardians are hanging in there at 2.5 games behind the Royals with the great Bobby Witt, who made the playoffs last year. 14-15, 4.5 games back. The Twins are back, and the White Sox are trying very, very hard to break last season's MLB record for losses because they're 7-20.
Hey, you're always going for record. You know that's the thing.
Hey, if you're gonna go for a record, go for a record, right? Like go hard in the paint. The Seattle Mariners in AL West, despite not having an offense, do have a plus 14 run differential. And George Kirby still one of my fantasy pitchers on the IL, which I'm super happy about. But they're 7-3 in their last 10, man. Texas Rangers right behind them. Literally, I mean, not right behind them. They're tied with them. The Houston Astros, the very scary, used to be scary Houston Astros. You pencil them in for the NL West division title every year. After losing Kyle Tucker to the Cubs, which I love me some Kyle Tucker.
You forgot to say after they lost the trash can.
Oh, yeah, that kind of did go downhill from there.
Yeah, they did.
And losing Alex Bregman to the Boston Red Sox. Man, I mean, just nobody's scared of the Houston Astros. Not saying that's still not a good team, but it's not what it used to be. The Athletics playing in Sacramento in a minor league stadium where they had an incident the other day where the medical cart died on the field and had to be pushed back behind the wall.
Oh, they got an electric injury cart?
I don't know if it was electric or it was gas, but it died. And they had to spend like 10 minutes and suspend the game to get this fucking thing back off the field. And it just shows how just awful this organization is being run right now, other than Dallas Braden being one of the play-by-play guy. But yeah. In the National League, the Mets with Juan Soto and his 15-year, $750 million contract are 8-2 in their last 10. They're 4.5 games above the Phillies. Everybody else is just kind of treading water. The Nationals, the Marlins, the Braves. In the NL Central, my Chicago Cubs, 17-11.
Who's in second place?
The Reds.
Oh my God! How did that happen?
Good luck with that.
Hey, but they're above 500.
They are above by one game.
Yep.
They are above 500. So, congratulations? Question mark? I don't know. I love me some Terry Francona, but I hate the Reds because I'm a Cubs fan. So, but it is what it is, man. The Cubs doing great despite losing Justin Steele to season-ending elbow surgery, which is fucking awesome. They've kept on winning. Get a plus 41 run differential, 6-4 in their last 10. Rumor has it that they are not only trying to get Kyle Tucker signed to an extension, as well as Nico Horner, but looking for a trade to maybe make a move with the Miami Marlins to trade for Sandy Alcantara, who is a stud right-hander. Obviously, Shota Imanaga cannot handle. He is the ace of the staff, but he can't do it all alone. So the Cubs do need to pick up a pitcher. We'll see who that is. My vote is Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins. He's probably the best available out there off the top of my head. Brewers hanging in there too, 14-15. Cardinals are back down there, and
Who had a winning day at the draft?
I don't know because I don't care.
Why? You don't think draft players are any good?
What draft are we talking about? Are we talking about the NFL or are we talking about baseball?
Baseball.
I didn't fucking care.
Oh, okay.
No, it just doesn't matter until you hit. No.
A draftee is not going to play, is what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is I don't really care until they get there.
Oh, okay.
I don't pay. There, you know how many rounds there are in MLB baseball? Like a lot. So to even pay attention
took all
to
3 rounds for them to get to the star that was talked up a bunch by Sanders. So,
well, anyways,
okay.
Unfortunately, the Pittsburgh Pirates and Paul Skeens and his hottie girlfriend Olivia Dunn are 11-17. So I guess you got to lower the flag there. They got a -18 run differential. Sad to see the Pirates doing that bad. It's the team in the NL Central I actually don't hate. They got one of the most beautiful stadiums out there too. And Paul Skeens, well, once he's done with Pittsburgh, is going to be a very, 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 very rich man. I'm sure that's when his girlfriend becomes his wife. Anyways, the NL West is crazy. This is nobody saw this shit coming, right? The Dodgers load up all off season. They just load up, and it's over. They're going to win 120 games. They're going to win the NL. They're going to go to the World Series. They're going to roll over whoever it was. And right now, the biggest surprise in baseball, in my eyes, is the San Francisco Giants. 18-10, first place, plus 27 run differential. Kind of shaky lately, 5-5 in their last 10. But then the Padres, San Diego, Pook. The Padres, they are hot. Well, they were 3-7.
Well, they're only a game out of first, so what the hell?
Yeah, 3-7 in the last 10 though. But they're only a half game back. The Dodgers tied with the Dodgers, game and a half back. Dodgers are right there, 3.5 back, and the Colorado Rockies are competing with the Chicago White Sox for the shittiest team in baseball and winning.
Yeah.
Rockies are 4-22 with a -62 run differential. Every team in the NL West has a positive run differential except for the Rockies, and the Rockies is -62.
Wow.
Like, that is so embarrassing.
They apparently keep their pitchers in too long.
Well, I mean, it's Colorado, and there's a lot of things going on with that franchise.
Yeah, but see, if it's fair for one, it's fair for all. And if the Colorado Rockies can't send some dingers when the other team can, it's got to be something about the dingers not being there.
Right. Other than that, not much else going on. Not a lot of trade rumors, except for, like I talked about, the Cubs are shopping for a pitcher. Unfortunately, the price is probably going to be pretty high because when everybody knows you need something, the price miraculously goes up very quickly. So we'll see about that. But other than that, man, that's about it. I'm kind of hungry. Want to get to some dinner. So might as well do some final thoughts, boys.
Well, that means we're going to eat, and we got a good dinner tonight. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Start off, Luke. Final thoughts.
Well, my final thoughts. I'll tell you what, man. When you were doing your segment, I really should have helped you out with that New Gardner shit because I'll say right now, you talk about New Gardner probably as much as honestly as Minnie talks about the New York Yankees. Yes, yeah. So I should have been able to help you out. Sorry I wasn't there for that. I did try to help you out with that Memorial Day thing. We could just left that Memorial Day.
That's cool. Yeah, you did that.
Memorial Day. But that being said, you should have saw Minnie. If you can watch this again, if you ever watch this over, if you see how stressed out Minnie is, how he's pulling on his beard, it was comical. I was laughing at Minnie. I wasn't even laughing at you, Pops. I was laughing at Minnie. I was like, dude, what are you talking? Quit stressing out. This is the best part of the show, Minnie. Come on.
Well,
What are you
I
stressing
screwed
out
up
for?
in that. I didn't have all this stuff printed out. I had to do it
That's
off
all-
the top of my head, and apparently my top of my
I've
head
been
not
there.
so strong.
I've been there, Pops. I've been there. Sometimes that's the best part of the show. Minnie was so stressed out. He's like pulling his hat, his beard. He's like stroking his beard. Thought he was going to start ripping out clumps, man. Yeah.
We're having breakfast for dinner, and I can see John drooling.
Yeah.
What's for dinner?
Breakfast for dinner.
Oh, right on. Breakfast time. All right. Okay. Well,
And I just heard that 5 minutes before we went on air, and I was drooling myself. So anyway,
okay. I guess that means we're signing off. So
yeah, that's pretty much where we're at now.
yeah, we'll
I
kind of
spent
sign.
yesterday in
we'll
the
sign off.
hospital, Pook.
Gee whiz.
Now
man.
this will crack you up. I went in to get some tests done, and I'm 45 minutes into this test. I got one more test to complete. I'm on the last segment of the test, second last test, and I faint.
You faint.
So they did wake me up, but I apparently was asleep longer than I anticipated because I figured it was just 5-10 seconds. But where I woke up on a bed. There was no bed in the room that I was in being tested on. They had to get me out of the booth that you do the testing in and onto the bed. So I'm saying 3-4 minutes, and that's a long time to be passed out. So
Yeah, that's wild.
they called a crash cart on me and everything. So when I woke up, there was probably 50 people around me and all trying to figure out what's going on.
And you still made it to the show.
Yeah, it's still made it.
Well,
That
no
good
wonder you
John
can't
picked me up
remember New
yesterday, and
Gardner's
that
name.
made it all right. But anyway, so I'm saying never give up. There's always a way out. And all you got to do is talk to some people and they'll find a way to do it.
All right. Hey, there you go. Hey, buddy.
Uh-oh, there you go.
I love you. Right. Remember.
Mr. James and John. Wow, what a pair. Hey, can I get a fist bump? Give me a fist bump, James. Come on, give me. There you go.
Minnie, you're muted, bro.
Yeah, I know. I just noticed
Okay.
that.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Yeah.
Making sure.
Never take a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Lots of resources out there. The hardest step is just taking that first step and reaching out. Love you all. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to Pops. Thank you to Pook. Hopefully, we'll get some pterodactyl in next week so we can get into some hockey. I believe they're in the playoffs right now. Otherwise, I couldn't tell you fuck all about what's going on in hockey. But hopefully, we'll have him again next week, and we'll see you very soon. As I find James, where's your outro? Where's your outro, dude?
Hey, we're going to see him again, too, in just a second.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we are for sure. Where is it, James? I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Look.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.